In the state of Louisiana, the newly elected Democratic governor by the name of John Bel Edwards has expanded Medicaid within that state under the Affordable Care Act provision, and 300,000 Louisianians now have health insurance. We give that man a round of applause. And the thing is, when it comes to stuff like this, is that the Republicans are going to attack him and say that, this is terrible, he's giving people free stuff. And that's a line that I extremely am getting fed up with. When people say that things that the government does to benefit the people, it's just free stuff, and the government shouldn't be doing stuff for people whatsoever, or like things like health insurance and free college, or at least reducing the rates of college tuition. But here's the thing: in about 2 or 3 more semesters, I will be done with college, and the average starting salary for someone in my profession is around $55,000 to $60,000 a year. And with my girlfriend, it's around the same, like $55,000 to $60,000, and we'll both be averaging around $75,000 to $90,000 a year, which is pretty good in the state of Ohio. But I would say probably about 30% of that is going to be taxed. So let's say let's just round it off to $100,000, then the government takes like 30 grand out of the $100,000 for the household income. Why would I want to be taxed $30,000 or so dollars, or actually probably be less than that, because but this is just for layman's purposes or whatever. But why would I want to give the government a large chunk of my income, and then the government's not going to do stuff that benefits me? That's stupid. And the Republicans, they want the working class and the poor people to be taxed, and then not have any kind of benefits going towards them, because even poor people pay taxes. A lot of people forget that people pay sales taxes, and for someone who's poor, that's a significant part of their income, because if someone has to live paycheck by paycheck, then 6-7% of your, or a 6 or 7% increase on, let's say, certain products that are necessary for you to survive. I mean, that's substantial. But then they want to give all these tax breaks to multinational corporations, $1 trillion tax cuts, and then destabilize or deregulate the economy, and then it crashes. And that's what happened during the recession. The Republicans deregulated the economy, gave tax breaks to billionaires and multinational corporations, and then with all that, the economy plummeted. And then once the Obama got into office, it pretty much reversed, and we are having an economic boom right now for the most part. And another thing when it comes to the Republicans is that they always say how they care so much for the American people, or at least rich, white male, very rich white male American people, which is probably like 0.0001% of the population. But that's besides the point. Under the Republican leadership, 40,000 Americans used to die every single year due to lack of health insurance. Now, 9/11, which was one of the most horrendous attacks on our country and in our history, 3,000 Americans died. It was horrible. But why don't we have the same or even more outrage when something that is preventable, or at least more preventable than a terrorist attack from happening, is like nothing's being done to solve it? Yes, 3,000 Americans died, and we invaded 2 countries, one of them that had nothing to do with 9/11. But why would we not be outraged when 40,000 Americans are dying every single year? Because there's like half of the political power in this country just doesn't give a shit about the American people. Why should my tax dollars go towards giving trillions of dollars of tax cuts towards billionaires and multinational corporations and invading countries that cost us trillions of dollars? And instead, we could have, funded a universal single-payer healthcare system. We could make college free, or at least very affordable, so anyone can pretty much go to college if they have the intelligence to do so. or, rebuilding our infrastructure. I mean, like in Akron, Ohio, because that's where I live at, the street up from my mom's house, there was a pothole that was there, I would say probably throughout last summer for about 4 or 5 months. And the pothole, I kid you not, was about 4 by 5 feet and about half a feet deep or whatever. This isn't, uh, you know, a fucking West African country where we should have dirt roads or roads that are basically falling apart. And I mean, there's just so much stuff that we can spend our money on or our tax dollars on instead of blowing it on like our military. And believe me, when I talk about military spending, I'm not talking about the money that goes towards our troops, because that's a very small percentage. I mean, we have $1 trillion fighter jet programs when no other country in the world spends that kind of money on its military. I mean, we spend more money on our military than I think it was like the next 6 or 7 countries combined. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I think something needs to change. So that's why I am in favor of Bernie Sanders being president, because even though I don't think it's going to just be completely turned around, I think that him being in office will do a tremendous amount of good for the American people. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, like, comment. Have a nice day.